Hi Lisa, this is one of my biggest questions. I felt that it's right that in essence we are formless awareness, but in the Advaita circles the ego was the devil and helps to create shells of people who follow one guru and negate themselves in the name of awakening. In retreats I felt there was countless traumatized people who had learned from their parents that their ego didn't matter or weren't even allowed to develop like one like myself. Then Advaita feels like the perfect continuation. I have to say Advaita helped me to see what I was not, so the more healthy ego could emerge and develop. Now I'm just content and peaceful with my ego and everything else. The drive to search for awakening is gone. Does all this make sense to you? Yeah, hey Angela. Yeah. I see this all the time. It's so difficult because it's in the nature of our expression. So the nature of storytelling is to overcome obstacles. And that's the nature of any stories we tell or anything. And stories are a way of learning. So we tell stories in order to teach people how to learn something. Even the teaching of the use of a hammer or carpentry, we teach it through storytelling, which is so miraculous, like so sweet. But the nature of storytelling is always something we've got to overcome. So there's always got to be a protagonist. So you got the hammer, and you got to overcome the thumbs. That's just a joke, because you hit the thumbs with the hammer. So, but I'm like everything, there's always a protagonist. And that's the way storytelling goes, and it's the absolute tragedy of expressing this subject. And it's so impossible as a non-dual speaker to try to juggle all those balls and express all of that simultaneously. To speak about the issue with thinking and the issue with identification with thoughts, while simultaneously expressing about healthy and unhealthy egos and your childhood and how you were brought up. And I mean, it's just so hard to express everything simultaneously. And I agree with you that gurus and organizations, so more organized gurus, do have this more. It's more like the guru, the teacher is all knowing, and then there's this organization. This is what I really love about the internet, and speaking about non-duality through the internet, is I feel what I can do is I can just deliver it through the internet without creating a group around me in any way. I sit here and there's not people competing in the audience for the mama's attention or trying to be the best student. It's like everything's invisible. So I like that aspect of it. But I can also see the conundrums of that, just in the act of expressing it. And then you come down to the conundrum of whether it should be expressed or not, And yes, it should be expressed. But yes, there is going to be all this, and it's the same for me. I got into non-duality to try to audition to become the perfect, non-existent, invisible person for the narcissist. I really did. I had a lot of narcissistic behaviors around me when growing up, and I felt like if I disappeared, then the narcissists could all get their own way, and then everyone would be happy. I just had to make myself disappear and have no wants and needs or anything. And then I could totally serve that narcissist. I really get it. And of course I did it when I got into non-duality. Yeah, like I had some terrible experiences with male teachers. Yeah, I just say that like with male teachers, because I'm sure the women that have all been around this since a young age know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's not a criticism of men. There's so many beautiful male teachers out there, but I just meant it like that. I think that Angela maybe got into this at a young age as well, and so she knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. But how to express it, there is this conundrum of that we identify with a lie, we identify with our thoughts and our feelings. And maybe if the ego was balanced right from the very beginning and we all had like amazing parenting, maybe we would never ask these questions and never get into this subject. The Buddha says, and lots of teachers say, including myself, there has to be a certain amount of suffering in order to ask, why are we alive? Otherwise it'll just be like, okay, pleasure, beep, 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 pleasure, beep, beep, beep. Yeah. And I found through doing non-duality and therapy and all these things, my ego became more balanced and I began to care less about and waking up or freedom. It just all seemed abstract and irrelevant. But yet at the same time, if I heard people talking about presence, my heart would like explode with love. Like, yeah. So yeah, Angela, thank you for your question. And I am sure that question is really valuable to so many people hearing that. And I really get ya. And I don't have answers, because at the same time, I'm so freaking glad I got into this subject. Like, it saved my life. But yeah, there was pain and there was struggle along the way, like as in the case with most stories. And yes, non-duality could do with a cleanup. But I don't even like to go into that too much, even though I've got into it so much today, because that's another way of creating a cult, is it's like, I'm here to clean up non-duality. I'm more special than all the other teachers. It's all, we're just left with silence. I can see all the mistakes of all the other teachers. Hashtag be free from unhealthy, narcissistic, toxic non-duality. The dilemma.